A Chinese company just became the world's biggest EV maker, and America is so terrified they banned it before you even heard its name. Here is why that might be the biggest mistake the US ever made. 1995, Shenzhen, China. A 29-year-old chemistry teacher named Wang Chungfu just quit his government job. Everyone thought he was insane. Stable job gone, savings about to be gone. He borrowed 300,000 US dollars and started making batteries in a rented warehouse. Not sexy, not glamorous, batteries. But here is the thing, this was the late 90s. Cell phones were exploding, not literally. Well, sometimes literally. Everyone needed batteries, and Wang, he figured out how to make them cheaper than anyone else on earth. Within 5 years, BYD became the world's largest phone battery manufacturer. Nokia, Motorola, Samsung, they all needed him. In 2008, a 77-year-old billionaire from Omaha made a move that shocked Wall Street. Warren Buffett, the guy who didn't invest in tech, who missed Google, who ignored Amazon, invested 230 million US dollars in BYD. Not Tesla, not Ford, a Chinese battery company nobody in America had heard of. When asked about BYD, Elon Musk literally laughed on camera, called their cars unimpressive. That was 2011. Fast forward to today, and Elon's not laughing anymore because BYD just did something Tesla never could, and it's making American auto executives lose their sleep. 2003, while making batteries, Wang had a realization. If you are already the best at making the most expensive part of an electric car, why not make the whole car? Everyone told him no, you are a battery company, stay in your lane. He didn't listen. BYD bought a bankrupt Chinese automaker for pennies. And then the Chinese government did something genius. China had a problem. Their cities were choking on smoke. So they basically said, we are going all in on electric. Here is billions in subsidies. Go crazy. While America was still debating climate change, China was building the future. And BYD, they weren't trying to beat Tesla. They weren't selling status symbols. They were selling electric cars that normal people could actually afford. Tesla Model 3 in China, 40,000 US dollars. A comparable BYD, only 25,000 US dollars. Same range, same features, almost half the price. In 2023, BYD sold 3 million EVs, where Tesla sold 1.8 million. But here is where it gets wild. BYD isn't just beating Tesla in China. They are taking over Thailand, dominating Brazil, flooding Europe. They are everywhere, except one place, the United States of America, and there is a very specific reason why. Remember how we said BYD started as a battery company? That's their superpower. Traditional lithium-ion batteries, they can catch fire, they are expensive, they degrade fast. BYD invented something called the blade battery. It's a lithium-ion phosphorate battery that's basically indestructible. They literally drive a nail through it. It doesn't explode, doesn't catch fire, nothing. Teslas are still occasionally turning into $80,000 bonfires. And here is the kicker, BYD's batteries cost 40% less to produce than Tesla's. Why? Because BYD owns the entire supply chain. They mine the lithium, they process it, they build the batteries, they install them. Tesla has to buy batteries from Panasonic. BYD is the battery company, but it's not just batteries, it's everything. The global chip shortage that crippled every car company in 2021 didn't touch BYD because they make their own chips. They make their own seats, their own electronics, their own softwares. Every component another car maker has to buy, BYD makes it themselves. This is why Buffett invested. He saw the monopoly before anyone else. His 230 million investment worth over 7 billion today. That's a 3000% return on a boring Chinese battery company. But here is where the American government stepped in, and what they did might change everything. September 2024, President Biden signed an executive order that basically said, Chinese EVs, not in my America, 100% tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles. That $25,000 BYD now cost $50,000. Instantly became uncompetitive. But it wasn't just about price. The official reason? National security. See, modern cars are basically computer on wheels. They collect data. Lots of data. Where you go, when you go, what you say to Siri. And if that car is made in China, the data could go straight to Beijing. Or at least, that's what they are telling you. Want the real reason? Detroit is terrified. Ford, General Motors, Chrysler, they spent decades dominating the American market. They have got powerful unions, million jobs, and political leverage. Then BYD shows up talking about selling EVs for 11,000 US dollars. That is not just competition, that is an extinction level event because here is the uncomfortable truth. American car companies can't compete with that. BYD's cost to build a car $15,000. Ford's $28,000. And American companies don't control their supply chain like BYD does. This is not just about cars, it's about who controls the future of transportation. But while America builds walls, BYD is building an empire, and their strategy is absolutely ruthless. Can't sell in America? Fine. BYD is taking over everywhere else. Thailand. In 2023, BYD became the number one EV brand, destroyed Toyota on their home turf. In Brazil, BYD is building a $620 million factory, creating 5,000 jobs. In Europe, they are now the fourth largest EV seller, beating the BMW. And it is giving German automakers nightmares. But here is the genius move. Mexico. BYD just announced a massive factory in Mexico, and because of USMCA, the trade deal Trump negotiated, cars built in Mexico can enter the US tariff free. They are trying to close the loophole, but it might be too late because this is straight out of China's playbook. BYD is selling electric buses to Kenya, South Africa, and Colombia, and once you are logged into their ecosystem, good luck switching. Because you will need BYD chargers, BYD service centers, and BYD parts. It's the Apple strategy, but for cars on a global scale. BYD's market cap $115 billion. That is bigger than Ford and General Motors combined. Wang Chungfu is worth $23 billion. But America's ban might actually be helping BYD, and that's the part nobody is talking about. Think about it. America banned BYD before they even entered the market. That's free publicity, free positioning. You just made them the forbidden fruit. It's the TikTok effect. Ban something and suddenly everyone wants it. Google searches for BYD in the US up 400 since the ban. China figured out that EVs needs to be affordable, not aspirational. That's why they are making millions while everyone else is struggling. And here is the really uncomfortable truth. American automakers are years behind on battery technology. Tesla doesn't even make their own batteries. They are dependent on suppliers. BYD is the supplier. They are selling batteries to Tesla's competitors. Toyota is using BYD batteries. So is Ford in their non-US markets. So American companies are buying Chinese batteries to compete with Chinese cars they can't sell in America. Now you also might feel the mental gymnastics are exhausting. And while America is playing defense, China is playing offense. BYD spends 5% of their revenue on R&D. That's $3.5 billion a year. They are developing solid-state batteries, 1200-mile range, charge in 10 minutes, which last a million miles. Tesla is promising that in 5 years, BYD is testing it now. Here is my question for you. Tomorrow, if BYD sold a $15,000 electric car in America, same quality as Tesla, would you buy it? Or would you pay double for the American brand?